On a flight from Barcelona to London Stansted, a distressing incident unfolded involving a white male passenger and an elderly black woman. The passenger was captured on video, agitated and verbally abusive. He can be seen jabbing at a seat and yelling at the elderly woman, demanding her to move away from him. The incident occurred on flight FR015 on a Friday afternoon. This disturbing situation is indicative of a broader issue in our society. While we are making remarkable advancements in various fields, there are regrettably instances of significant regression in terms of human behavior. Some individuals unjustly believe in their superiority over others, based on physical appearance, race, socioeconomic status, or other qualities. And this is something that I find incredibly challenging to comprehend. What's even more troubling are those who think they have the authority to demean others based on these qualities after learning about them. These individuals, driven by callousness, have managed to incite profound anger and frustration within me. The elderly woman, aged 77, was subjected to racist insults during this incident on a Ryanair flight. The video shows a white man and a black woman sitting together, with an empty seat between them, while other passengers attempt to defuse the situation. The woman's daughter intervenes, explaining her mother's inability to move quickly due to her arthritis. But the man callously dismisses her condition. The man's abusive behavior continues, as he threatens the woman and verbally assaults her, refusing to let her speak. The flight attendant attempts to maintain control and mediate the situation. Another passenger in the row behind steps in, trying to calm the aggressive man and discourage his hostile behavior. Ultimately, the woman is relocated to a different seat away from the male passenger. According to her daughter, this dispute arose because the elderly woman, at 77 years old, couldn't move swiftly enough to allow the man to access a window seat due to her arthritis. To mark the 1-year anniversary of her father's passing, the daughter arranged a vacation for her mother, who is a Windrush generation migrant from Jamaica, having arrived in the United Kingdom in the 1960s. The vacation was intended to lift her spirits, as she had been feeling low and melancholic recently. The daughter explained that her parents had been married for over 50 years. The daughter expressed her frustration, stating that if she had behaved similarly, or if any other black person had acted in such a manner, the police would likely have been called, and they would have been removed from the plane. Her mother, already grappling with sadness, is now additionally burdened by anger and stress due to this incident. The daughter also expressed her dissatisfaction with how the situation was handled. She pointed out that the passenger responsible for the racist insults was not removed from the plane. When she complained to cabin crew, they claimed not to have heard any racial slurs, and directed her to contact customer service the following day. This incident has garnered significant attention on social media, with thousands of users expressing their displeasure. Many called for the aggressive passenger's removal from the flight, and suggested that the woman be upgraded to first class. People were united in their condemnation of such hateful behavior, emphasizing the need for greater unity and understanding in our society. Several lawmakers, including Transport Secretary Chris Grayling, voiced their disapproval of the incident, highlighting the illegal nature of such abusive behavior and the necessity for appropriate action. Stuart McMillan, an MSP for Greenock and Inverclyde, urged Ryanair to address the incident and evaluate their employee training. Margaret Ferrier, another MSP, condemned the incident and applauded the passenger who intervened. Ryanair has reported the incident to Essex Police, and it is now under their jurisdiction. Essex Police is taking this case seriously, and is collaborating with Ryanair and the Spanish authorities. The video of the confrontation originally uploaded to David Lawrence's Facebook page, quickly gained more than 1 million views. Ryanair issued a statement that they had referred the matter to Essex Police and, as a result, couldn't comment further. Criticism was directed at the flight crew for not removing the aggressive passenger from the plane and for their handling of the situation, which included allowing the woman to take his place in the aisle seat. Numerous members of the British and Scottish parliaments called for the passengers' immediate removal from the aircraft and handover to the authorities, emphasizing that such actions should have occurred promptly. If the aircraft was indeed in the United Kingdom, there is a strong likelihood that the passenger committed criminal offences. David Lawrence informed the Huffington Post that neither the pilot nor the flight attendants took any action to ask the man to change seats or leave the plane after the incident occurred. After the flight concluded, Lawrence spoke with the pilot, who advised them to file a formal complaint with Ryanair. Ryanair, a low-cost carrier, has gained a reputation for providing minimal services and charging customers extra for various amenities, such as printing boarding tickets and arranging group seating. The issue of racism is pervasive, and a movie is being produced based on a true story that happened to Kevin Hart. Hart shared with Insider that the airplane scene in the story is based on his own personal experience with racism. Hart acknowledges that sometimes his followers can become so accustomed to him that they may overlook the line between his character and his real-life experiences. As a celebrity, he emphasizes that his character is built upon the deluge of daily experiences he deals with. In the Netflix limited series True Story, Kevin Hart blends truth with imagination as he attempts to cover up a murder with his brother. In one episode, Hart encounters a situation on an airplane during a visit to Philadelphia, his hometown and the next stop on his comedy tour. A white passenger in first class recognizes him and begins quoting his stand-up routine, even using the N-word. The situation becomes uncomfortable for Hart, and a security guard intervenes, with Hart instructing the man to back off. Hart explained that this event was not staged for dramatic effect, and that he has encountered such bigotry in his travels since becoming a celebrity. He emphasizes that people sometimes become overly comfortable in his presence, and there are moments when boundaries are disregarded. In these situations, Hart maintains his composure, choosing the higher road and calmly correcting people's misconceptions. Hart's decision to film True Story was partly to express and address issues that had been bothering him since achieving fame. He considers the project a stress reliever, allowing him to articulate things he might not express in his everyday life. He recognizes the need to be professional and patient in handling situations and individuals, as reactions can have consequences. In summary, True Story serves as a medium for Hart to address personal and professional challenges he has encountered, allowing him to navigate the complexities of fame while staying true to himself. The serene neighborhood was bathed in the golden hues of the evening sun. Residents went about their evening routines, enjoying cups of tea, children played in their front yards, and the elderly took leisurely walks, exchanging greetings with their neighbors. Among them was Daniel, a kind-hearted middle-aged man who had been a familiar presence in the neighborhood for many years, doing odd jobs and earning the trust and affection of the residents. On this particular evening, as Daniel strolled past the old maple tree near Mrs. Dawson's house, a faint cry pierced the otherwise tranquil atmosphere. It was a subtle sound, easily lost among the chirping birds returning home. But Daniel's attentive ears caught it. He traced the origin of the cry to a nearby trash bin, An old and rusted container that had seen better days. With a sense of disbelief, he peered inside. And his eyes widened in astonishment. Nestled amidst discarded newspapers and empty cans was a tiny, innocent face with large hazel eyes, gazing back at him. A baby girl, no more than a few days old, lay swaddled in a tattered blanket, clearly abandoned. The gravity of what he was witnessing left him momentarily paralyzed. Here was a life discarded as if it held no value. In stark contrast to the neighborhood he had known, where community and compassion were the norm. Daniel's heart swelled with compassion. And he carefully lifted the baby out, cradling her in his arms. Her cries soon gave way to soft whimpers. And it became clear to him that he couldn't leave her fate to an uncaring world. This baby needed a protector, and fate had chosen him for that role. Word of the discovery spread rapidly, and by nightfall, almost the entire community had gathered outside Daniel's modest home, sharing in his disbelief and sorrow. Mrs. Thompson, a retired nurse from down the lane, quickly stepped in to examine the baby, ensuring she was healthy and unharmed. Others brought baby clothes, formula, and toys. The community, bound by an invisible thread of shared concern, came together unanimously, supporting Daniel's heartfelt decision to adopt the child. They named her Echo, symbolizing the faint cry that had resonated with Daniel's soul. With the community cheering him on at every step, Daniel's life transformed. The bachelor, who had previously been content in his solitude, now found himself navigating the world of fatherhood. As the years rolled on, Echo's miraculous rescue became somewhat of a neighborhood legend. Each year, on the anniversary of her discovery, the community hosted a small celebration, a testament to life, second chances, and unity. Echo grew up surrounded by this tale, understanding from an early age the profound serendipity that marked her existence. The bond between her and Daniel was like no other. He wasn't just her father, he was her savior, confidant, and guiding light. Echo became his anchor, filling his life with laughter, purpose, and an unparalleled love. Their relationship served as a testament to the neighborhood, a daily reminder that family wasn't solely defined by blood. The love Daniel showered on Echo was genuine, as was the affection she returned. Their unique story, born out of tragedy, bloomed in love and community support, serving as a beacon of hope and teaching every resident the true essence of compassion and unity. From her earliest days, Echo's inclination towards music was unmistakable. While other babies babbled, Echo hummed simple melodies, mimicking the songs of birds outside her window, or the lullabies Daniel sang to her at bedtime. As the years passed, her talent evolved, and it became clear that Echo was destined for musical greatness. By the age of 7, Echo was the star of every neighborhood gathering. At block parties and local celebrations, she stood as a diminutive figure with a voice that belied her years. It wasn't just the clarity of her vocals or the range she effortlessly covered. It was the emotion she infused into every note. Her singing touched souls, making grown men weep and filling hearts with indescribable warmth. The community saw more than just a talented child in Echo. They saw hope in her melodies, solace, and redemption. Her story of being found lost among the discarded, and then blossoming into this radiant source of joy and music inspired many. It was as if she channeled all her early life struggles, transforming them into poignant musical narratives. Recognizing her gift, Daniel enrolled Echo in the best music classes the town had to offer, ensuring she had access to seasoned vocal trainers and a piano teacher. He often sat through her lessons, watching with pride-filled eyes as Echo's fingers danced on the keys or her voice resonated through the music room. However, as the seasons changed and Echo transitioned from a carefree child To a thoughtful teenager, Daniel began to notice a shift in her. Beyond her music, a deep curiosity was taking root in her. She would often sit on their porch during twilight, lost in thought. Her fingers absent-mindedly strumming the guitar, crafting melodies that hinted at a yearning. One evening, as they sat together after dinner, Echo gathered the courage to voice the questions that had been plaguing her. Her voice quivered as she asked, "Who am I? Where do I come from? Why was I left alone?" The weight of her questions hung heavily in the air, casting a shadow over the room. Daniel, having anticipated this moment but never truly prepared for it, took a deep breath. He held Echo's hands and searched for the right words. He spoke of that fateful evening, when he found her and the decision to make her his own. He painted a picture of the community's love, hoping to cushion the blow of her traumatic start. But Echo needed more. The melodies in her heart, which once flowed effortlessly, now seemed stifled by the chains of her unknown past. Her quest for her origins became a journey of self-discovery, a tune she was determined to decipher. As the days turned into weeks, Echo delved deeper. With Daniel supporting her every step, she began piecing together her history, understanding her roots, and seeking closure. Through it all, the community stood by her, their beacon of hope. Now, searching for her own light, the story of Echo's search became intertwined with her music. Each note echoed her journey, her pain, and her relentless hope. The morning of Echo's 16th birthday began with jubilant celebrations. Daniel had organized a surprise garden party for her, inviting close friends and neighbors. The air was filled with laughter, the sweet notes of a violin playing in the background, and the aroma of freshly baked pastries. Amid the festivities, an unexpected turn of events cast a shadow over the day's merriment. As Echo unwrapped her gifts, a delicate envelope devoid of any return address caught her eye. The handwriting was familiar, intricate, with a hint of hesitance. With growing curiosity, Echo tore open the seal and began to read. As she read, her face turned paler, her hands slightly trembling. The letter was penned by a woman claiming to be her birth mother. Through inked words, pain and regret dripped onto the pages. It spoke of a young love, of choices made in duress, and of the gut-wrenching decision to abandon her own flesh and blood, due to the constriction of societal judgment. The letter was an outpouring of a heart burdened by guilt, seeking understanding and perhaps, if not forgiveness, at least an acknowledgement of her torment. Daniel, observing his daughter's distress, took the letter from her. His eyes quickly scanned the contents, and the weight of the revelation bore down on him. He felt a surge of anger, not just at the woman who had penned the letter, but also at the society that had driven her to such extremes. Seeking clarity, Daniel approached Mr. Harris, a local elder known for his wisdom and knowledge about the community's intricate histories. Under the old willow tree, their meeting place for years, Daniel confronted the elder with the letter. Mr. Harris sighed, his aged eyes reflecting a myriad of emotions. He hesitated for a moment before beginning a tale that had been buried in the annals of the community's whispered secrets. It turned out that Echo's birth mother had been a young woman from their very neighborhood, a passionate and vibrant soul. She had fallen in love with a man the community disapproved of. Their whirlwind romance, though genuine, had not fit the mold set by society. When she found herself with child, the societal pressures and the unbearable stigma of being an unwed mother in a judgmental community had forced her into the heart-wrenching decision to abandon her baby. Daniel sat in stunned silence, grappling with the magnitude of this revelation. Every corner of the neighborhood, every familiar face, now seemed shrouded in layers of secrets and unspoken truths. The question that plagued his mind was whether to protect Echo from this painful reality or to allow her the chance to confront her past and find her closure. As night fell, Daniel returned home and found Echo in her room, surrounded by her musical instruments but drowned in silence. He realized that the truth, as bitter as it might be, was now a part of Echo's melody. She deserved to know. Sitting beside her, he began to recount the tale Mr. Harris had shared, revealing the identity of her birth mother and the circumstances that had led to their fateful intersection of lives. The room was filled with a palpable heaviness. But amidst the pain, there was also an unspoken understanding that this was a chapter in Echo's songbook, the tea she had to confront, come what may. The envelope with its carefully penned words lay on Echo's lap, as Daniel narrated the painful history of her origins. The weight of the revelation bore down heavily on her young shoulders. But the resilience in her hazel eyes, reminiscent of that infant found in a trash bin, shone through. She had a right to the missing pieces of her life's puzzle, and Daniel recognized it was time she found them. Determined to confront her past and find closure, Echo sought out her birth mother. With only a name mentioned in the letter as a clue, she navigated the familiar lanes of her community, which now seemed like a maze of secrets. Her search ended at a quaint, slightly run-down house at the neighborhood's outskirts. There, amidst a garden overrun with wildflowers, she found a woman with eyes mirroring her own. Their reunion was one of poignant silences and tearful embraces. Words fell short, but the years of pent-up emotions resonated in their shared heartbeats. Echo's birth mother, Lily, spoke of her youthful love, societal judgments, and the devastating choice she felt compelled to make. Echo, with a maturity belying her age, listened, absorbing, empathizing, and gradually coming to terms with the truth. Words of this reunion spread throughout the community. Faces that once turned away in judgment now lowered in shame. The community was forced to confront its collective past and the agonizing consequences of their actions. The same society that had celebrated Echo's talent was now confronted with its role in her painful origin story. Echo, being the soulful musician she was, channeled her whirlwind of emotions, pain, confusion, love, and acceptance, into her art. She composed a song that was not just a narration of her journey, but also a reflection of the community's transgressions. The melody, both haunting and uplifting, carried within its notes the echoes of past mistakes and the hope of redemption. Recognizing the power of her composition and its potential, for healing, a community concert was organized at the local square. Residents gathered in anticipation, and Echo took the stage. The opening notes of her song reverberated through the evening, silencing all chatter. Each verse chronicled her journey, from abandonment to discovery, from pain to acceptance. The powerful and resonant chorus was a plea for understanding, forgiveness, and change. As her voice soared, the audience was enraptured. Every soul was touched, and every heart was pierced with remorse. By the song's conclusion, there wasn't a dry eye in the crowd. The community, in that singular moment, underwent a profound transformation. The judgments and prejudices that had once dictated their actions were now replaced with reflections on empathy, understanding, and collective healing. The story concludes with the final notes of Echo's song, which had transformed from a personal anthem of discovery to a healing hymn for the entire community. Under the starlit sky, amidst the applause and the tears, Echo's voice rang out, not just as a talented singer, but as a beacon leading her community toward a future of acceptance and love. The town, once broken by its judgments, now stood united in its path towards redemption.